everybody, my name is Adam Cleary, this is Adam Nicholas, and you're looking at the afternoon news. Woo! Gonna kick 5 news stories out on the tube, ha 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 ha. But coming up for you first, D'Lo Brown intro doesn't work, does it? D'Lo Brown intro doesn't work.
I kind of like this.
Well, you'll never see that again. Coming up for you today, Triple H has given his thoughts on NXT Takeover Portland.
Shelton Benjamin has signed a multi-year deal with WWE.
You ain't gonna believe who came up with the Charlotte Rhea Ripley feud.
Could a former UFC light heavyweight champion be on his way to WWE?
But first, this is the hashtag Good After News. But first, some great news for fans of wrestling, for fans of Britain, and fans of dogs, because according to Big Band Uncle Dave Meltzer on the Wrestling Observer Radio today, the next induction into the Hall of Fame 2020 for WWE is going to be the British Bulldog. Possibly the name at the very top of the pile of, gee whiz, who's long overdue for a Hall of Fame induction. Bulldog is going in as part of the class of 2020. Now, good news is for a number of reasons. One, Bulldog, during his initial run in the company, was a main eventer, one of the biggest names in the company, one of the biggest names in the industry. Of course, he's still probably the most successful British wrestler of all time. Drew could possibly usurp him this year, but as it stands, probably still the British Bulldog. Certainly the most well-known, certainly the most...
Across all the generations.
Yeah, certainly the most famous. So it's been long overdue for him actually getting into the Hall of Fame, but as we saw, his son was at WWE this week doing some stuff with Tyson Kidd and Natalya, so maybe that's a part of it. But yes, British Bulldog is going to be in the Hall of Fame. Isn't that nice?
That is lovely, and it's probably, as you say, quite long overdue. I mean, I think it's a shame, really, because when you think of Bulldog, for certain people of a generation, they missed all the really good Bulldog years, and they got Bulldog coming in at the tail end of the Attitude Era. And what's the most probably popular memory they have of Bulldog?
Where's my title shot?
Where's my title shot? Where's my title shot? Also getting rock bottom on a big pile of poo.
Oh, a big pile of poo, I forgot about that.
Dog poo, that was good.
Yeah, I'm one of those people. I didn't really know who the British Bulldog was until he came in during that weird jeans and boots and bright red face sort of time, and it was only
making the best of what he could do at the time. Obviously, he was working with a lot of injuries.
Yeah. Oh, don't get me wrong, it wasn't his fault, but I remember. I think I'd heard the name the British Bulldog in my childhood and assumed that this was just a guy who was using the name the British Bulldog. It wasn't for years later I found
funny
it was
you say
the
that,
same man.
Because the hair was different. And
everything was different.
I used to have this thing with wrestlers back in the day. I thought the Undertaker changed actors at least 3 times. Just turns out he had a different gimmick.
Yeah.
So,
one slight possible downside to this news. Obviously, we did report today that WWE are in talks about moving a major show, a major pay-per-view to the UK, and it has been suggested if they're putting Bulldog in the Hall of Fame this year, that probably suggests that it won't be a WrestleMania that comes to the UK, because if it's going to be, I mean,
if it was going to happen,
you'd save the Bulldog Hall of Fame induction for then. Surely you would think, but hey, I wouldn't be averse to a SummerSlam.
No, maybe they come off the tail end of it. Who knows?
Hey, because dogs have. Hey. Yeah, very good.
Hey.
Very good.
Easy stuff. This easy stuff. Let's move on to a newer WWE superstar. I guess we can talk about, but he's also a little bit of old as well. Old and new. Shelton Benjamin. And this is a nice, short and simple,
good segue like that.
Short and simple news story for you. He signed a new multi-year deal with WWE. This was reported on Lillian Garcia's podcast, Chasing Glory. He sat down with Lillian. Lovely little podcast this for anybody who enjoys podcasts. Check it out. She always seems to get the most in-depth interviews out of the guys and gals who go on there. And yes, Shelton Benjamin hasn't disclosed exactly how long, but he said it's a multi-year deal that he signed with WWE. Obviously, returned to the company in 2017. He's kind of been there. He's been in a tag team with Chad Gable. He's essentially been there to put over the younger guys, but he gets to jump in the ring with some of the most talented performers who are on the way up. And you kind of sense he likes that. Although I always get the feeling he feels that he could be doing a little bit more.
Yeah, the Shelton Benjamin thing. I mean, him in the Rumble with Lesnar was one of my favourite things Brock Lesnar's done in a very long time, but as with everything in that Rumble, it was far, far, far too short. Benjamin's been a weird one because ever since he came back, it's felt like there's a great opportunity there for him to put over a lot of younger guys, from potentially to teach a lot of people. And we keep expecting to hear about him moving into more of a coaching role, as MVP just has recently, and yet he still just drops in every now and then and does a little bit here and a little bit there, and I don't know. The Rumble felt like a really good time to just be like, right, that's enough now. We've done the best thing we could possibly do with this.
I do enjoy that they always keep referencing his time with Brock. They always bring that back.
Yes.
It came back previously when he actually helped Brock by attacking somebody.
When they were best pals.
When they're like best mates. So I like that they stick with that. And who could forget, of course, the wonderful series of about 3 promos where he just wasn't saying much, and I thought it was going to go somewhere. And then he just started saying stuff in interviews. Wonderful stuff. Anyway, multi-year deal for him and more of the same, I guess.
Yes, good for Shelton Benjamin. I wish I had a 5-year contract on millions of dollars.
There you go.
That's all I've got on that one.
That's all I need.
Following Takeover Portland, Triple H did his usual media call where he basically goes on a big conference saying, we're not allowed on it because they don't particularly like us, but it's still good nonetheless and usually comes up with some interesting tidbits of information. We've got two for you here, but the first one, and perhaps the most interesting one, as I'm sure you know, Charlotte is set to face Rhea Ripley, or potentially Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair, at WrestleMania 36, and it looks like being one of those just really clever Uncle Trips has gone a great idea for helping to get NXT over and integrated into the main roster. But no, according to Triple H, it was not his idea at all. It was the idea of Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
I refuse to believe this.
I refuse to believe that, but according to Triple H, it was all Vince's idea. He thought it would be a really cool way to introduce NXT to the main roster without it being a simple invasion kind of storyline. He thought it would give Charlotte an excellent WrestleMania program and help put Rhea Ripley over as a champion in demand that people really want to beat. And if that's true, it's so easy to criticise Vince McMahon.
It is.
It is
no, that's it. That's all
yeah, that's the end of the sentence. For very good reason. For very good reason,
Yes,
it's very easy to criticise Vince McMahon. But you've got to remember, I mean, we wouldn't have this job if it wasn't for Vince McMahon.
And to be fair, I'm sure if he ever felt like it, you just pull the plug whenever he wanted.
That's probably why, that does actually explain why it's a great idea in theory, but the build to it hasn't been particularly good yet. Charlotte's promo on Raw last night was... No, it was not good at all. So if he's got his hand on the wheel for this one, it does kind of make a lot of sense. But I mean, credit where it is absolutely due. This was absolutely the right direction to go in, the right course of action. It's going to make Ripley look like a star. It's going to make the NXT Women's Division rightly seem like the hottest property in WWE going into WrestleMania weekend. So, yeah, a stopped clock twice a day, I guess you'd say.
Well, that or Triple H gave him the idea at a dinner and he forgot that he'd even given him it and then pulled it back out as his own, to which Triple H was like, yes, Dad, yes, that's well done, you and your ideas.
Maybe there's some system Triple H has got whereby he knows that his boss won't go for good ideas, so he's got to like make him think that he came up with it somewhere down the line.
He tricks him into it. Trips him into it. You could even say.
Well,
I don't know whose idea that was. That was bad. But this idea seems like one you might be interested in. Could a potential former UFC champion be coming to WWE? Tito Ortiz, which is quite a surprise to be honest, given his advanced age of 45 years of old.
Tito Ortiz?
Tito Ortiz.
Even I've heard of him.
You have? That's because we did a news on about him once. That's the first time you heard about him. He could be coming on his way to WWE. Now, this has been reported by PW Insider. Ortiz had like last week, I think it was, popped across to the Performance Center for what we're being told was an introductory meeting between the two, where they get to feel each other out and see, is this for me? Am I for them? All that sort of thing. It sounds like it's gone rather well. He has said in the past to PW Insider he would be interested in following in the footsteps of Cain Velasquez, so presumably that means getting beat in under a minute off Brock Lesnar in the middle of Saudi Arabia for loads of cash. I am not that cynical. I'm sure there's more to it than that. 100%.
I mean, I've got no opinions on UFC at all. I've never really watched UFC. However, I'm happy to say that I would quite happily work less than a minute with Brock Lesnar for millions of dollars if the opportunity presented itself. Is there a possibility?
I'd still have to think about it, you know.
Well, it's not real.
Look how big he is.
I know, but he would be safe with me because
he wouldn't. He wouldn't know.
Rey Mysterio's still walking. I'm sure I'd do it. Dominic's still walking. I'm sure I'd do all right of it. Is there a possibility? Is there a possibility that WWE is fast basically becoming the MLS for UFC?
Right, okay.
You know what I mean? In the same way that like European football is, you know, it's still the same thing. You kind of still do, it's still sort of the same thing, but
to an extent, although I would say that there's an opportunity for it, that would be the case if MLS was like making as much, if not more money than like the Premier League and stuff, like in terms of generating for the franchises and what have you, and was as big.
That's
like,
true.
You can go and have your twilight years in WWE, arguably for less intense work,
for less intense work and more money,
and no death, no like near-death experiences, no broken bones potentially, and lots more money. I think it's almost like, why haven't more people done it already? Why are they doing it right now? Everyone just move ship to WWE. It'd
be a shame, wouldn't it, if like all major future WWE acquisitions are just like old UFC guys who've only done like 6 months worth of training.
Well, that's it. Sometimes though, you get the good ones like Shayna Baszler and Ronda right in their prime, as we say. Brock Lesnar still on top of the company despite having flip-flop between the two.
Matt Riddle.
So nice flip-flops, nice little tie.
That's how I got that. That's how I got that.
Seamless stuff.
Not done this together in months. We've not missed a beat. One story, if you've been watching this news video and noticed me looking down all the time, it's because I've got this news story here and I can't quite work out what it's about, really. Part of the Triple H conference call, he talked about NXT Takeover Portland and what a success it was. Now, apparently, this is WWE's most successful event in the Portland area, indeed, in all of Oregon.
In the whole of Oregon?
Since 2008.
Wow.
Apparently
Is it because I haven't been there?
Well, no, Triple H has another theory on this. Apparently, No Mercy, many years ago, did 9,527 fans, and Unforgiven 2004 did 10,000 fans. But apparently, Triple H has not given the exact figures, but said NXT Takeover Portland did better than both of these. And he says part of the reason for that is because it's the first NXT Takeover that's not had a main roster show to kind of, don't want to say prop it up, because normally they benefit massively from the unfavourable comparisons to the main roster.
Though, you get the casuals who also maybe go to NXT
I
on
think
top of that.
By the sounds of it, he firmly believes that that is the kind of level, like that is the kind of level all NXT shows should be aiming at in the future. They should be breaking WWE records in the territories they go to, because it's a hotter live attraction.
Hot brand, isn't it?
Doesn't get the same television audience, of course, but as a live attraction. I mean, we went to New York that year. I was more excited for Takeover than I was WrestleMania.
I think everybody should. Lots of people aren't, because they maybe don't watch NXT on the regular. But the first ever time I went to a WrestleMania was in Dallas, and the Takeover in Dallas just rocked my world completely. That ended up being the first show I got to see, and obviously wasn't that much competition at WrestleMania 32, was it?
Just as a slight tidbit of information, would you like to know what the main event was of Unforgiven 2004 from the record they've just broken?
Ooh, okay.
It was for the World Heavyweight Championship. There's a clue for you.
Was it hot trash or was it good?
No, we'll get Benoit in. I'm sure he'll tell you exactly how long the match went for, but just guess the opponents.
Is it Triple H?
Yes, it is.
And I feel like it's someone along the lines of either Scott Steiner, Kevin Nash, or Booker T. One of those three.
No, wrong direction.
Little
direction with those ones.
Go on then.
Randy Orton.
Randy Orton.
There you go. That's one for you.
Hang on, Benoit there.
Benoit there.
Ears just pricked up. Very excited.
That's it. That's all I usually got. Any Twitter?
We haven't got Twitter questions because we ended up in such a rush. We came in to be professionals and do the news.
Good. That means we're finished. So thank you so much for joining us for today's hashtag Good Afternoon.
Throw me phone there. Wouldn't be the same, would it?
that would be quite funny. Let us know what you made of all the stories in the comments below. Of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Adam Nicholas, where can they get you on Twitter if they wanted to do such a thing?
Get me on @it's Adam Nicholas, or they can find you on Twitter
@Adam Cleary, CLERY. No, so don't do it anymore. The entire WhatCulture wrestling family available to you at WhatCulture WWE. In the meantime, though, we're really sorry we don't look as good as we did in August. We found an old video of it before, but we hope you enjoyed it anyway. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you soon.
Hey, look at that. Make them wait.